The brainwashing runs really deep because the industrial system needs us to be acquiring, status-seeking cogs in their system because the factories are so efficient, they just keep making more stuff. And what I'm trying to reflect back on people is you can pick yourself and you can show up and ship work that makes things better, that you are proud of, and you don't need anyone's permission. Intention, design thinking, intentional action. If it's a hobby, go for it. It's for you. If it's work, it's ultimately for other people. It's ultimately to cause a change to happen. If you're not causing a change, then I'm not sure why you're taking up our time. But if you seek to make a change in the world, you have to ask 3 simple questions. Who's it for? Who specifically am I seeking to change? Who specifically am I building this for? What's it for? Can I say what this does? And what change am I seeking to make, which is related to the what's it for? If I can't say it, then I'm just ranting, right? But if I can be very clear, it's for people who believe this, it's for people who want this, it's for people who are aligned with this. And after you engage with my work, you will feel differently or you will act differently. That is the work of the Creator. And we don't want to say any of those things because it puts us on the hook. And being on the hook feels uncomfortable. And so we wriggle away. But I think being on the hook is the best place to be. I guess I would start with this. Please don't quit your day job today, just because you heard us talking. You can begin with your side hustle. You can begin with your practice, because it might take a while for it to get to the point where you have created something so peculiar and particular and unique and remarkable that people will eagerly pay for it. And if you need to paint your masterpiece in the next hour, I don't know how to help you. So that's the first place I start. That you may have to be a cog in the system for a little while longer as you develop trust, as you develop a reputation, as you develop the permission to talk to your followers. So, we've been talking about art, so we'll start with that. Abby Ryan decided, 10 or 15 years ago, to paint an oil painting every day. And when you say that out loud, you realize that's a pretty unusual thing to do. And then she started videoing her work as she did it, and she started teaching people generously how to do it. And over time, as she got better and her reputation improved, her eBay sales went from, this painting was $100 to this painting is $800. But if you're making $800 every day, making an oil painting in an hour and a half, that's a gig, right? And then it was featured in Oprah magazine, and then people are buying it not because they saw Abby painting it, but because she's actually really good at it, okay? But it all began with this germ of an idea, which is I can connect people to my practice. But let's just go totally in a different direction. Let's say you're a real estate broker. Most real estate brokers are freaking out correctly because Zillow makes it clear we don't need them. Right? That you can look at every single house for sale in Vermont anytime you want from the safety of your COVID-free living room. So why are they getting paid 6% of $800,000? This is a problem, except for some real estate agents who know every single person in town, who coach the Little League team, run this organization, have people have meetings in their office all the time, have a point of view, and only sell and buy in a very particular place, whether it's for a community or based on geography. That person is worth more than they charge, because that person is bringing a level of humanity that is not in the playbook. They cannot easily be replaced. And so one of the things I mentioned in the book is the origins of the word peculiar. And peculiar comes from the Latin for cattle. And it means private property. You own the cattle. Peculiar means you are in and of yourself. All the systems in our life push us not to do that. You're an Uber driver? Well, you better be invisible. All their rules are you can't be a peculiar Uber driver. You have to be the standard one. So my advice is don't be an Uber driver. Figure out what you can do instead where you actually benefit by being you. Trust yourself. When you're talking to yourself, who is talking and who is listening? Right? This is a fascinating thing that we don't examine very often. Someone's talking and someone's listening, and it's still you. So I'm arguing that the verbal, fearful, compliant, sometimes scared voice is the frontal cortex, the part of our brain that isn't particularly good at creativity. And then the one that's listening, the one that's getting shut down, the one that claims it wants to be authentic, is that other one, that one that's willing to push us forward. And what I'm saying is we are a dance of both. To trust yourself does not mean that you just do whatever you feel like and are guaranteed it's going to work. It probably won't. What it means is you need to listen to that voice more often. And if you can develop a practice that lets that voice show up in a way that it can, your work, your life gets better. And you can start today. If you want to be a runner, you don't do a lot of planning. You don't get Runner's World magazine and change your sneakers and sign up for this and sign up for that. If you want to be a runner, you go running. It doesn't matter how far. And you do it again tomorrow. And if you do it for 30 days in a row, you're a runner. And if you keep doing it, you'll get better. That is the practice. The practice says, I'm committing to this method, and I'm going to have streaks, whatever form they take. And one day I'll get better at this. And when I do, I'll be able to serve the people I hope to change. What we do is we see the world around us, and then we make up a story about it, not the other way around. That Dan Dennett, the great philosophy professor at Tufts, has proven that dreams happen in the moment we wake up. That all night there's electrical activity in our brain, but it's not till we wake up that we try to make sense of it.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it makes perfect sense. How they proved it was tricky, but it makes perfect sense to me because the storytelling part is our conscious brain. And if you are somebody who always goes out of their way to open doors for other people and help them, then you will start telling yourself a story that that's the kind of behavior you admire, not the other way around. And so just choosing a behavior, if you want to be a writer, write. If you want to be a runner, run. That will change how you think of you and your work, because a lot of people want to find their passion. They say, how do I find my calling? And I point out to them that there are plumbers who think they found their calling, and there are plumbers who wish they could sing opera. And there are opera singers who think they found their calling, and there are other opera singers who think it's just a grind. It turns out it has nothing to do with the profession. It has to do with our narrative about the profession. So to your previous point, doing the work changes our story about the work. And I think it's just so much more reliable and so much easier to love what you do than it is to do what you love. Making the choice to love what you do means that whatever you're doing, you can be in love. And, I'm super lucky. I don't have to dig ditches for a living or work in a toxic waste dump. I'm really grateful for that. But there are also plenty of people who, if you said you have to write a blog post for free every day, 7,500 times in a row, would say, that's horrible. For me, I love that. And that was just a choice. I decided that I would love doing that.